Hello, my name is Jacob Lawrence, and this is my final project for my families in rehab services. So, if you'll just let me get ready. Perfect. All right. So, my setting for my final project is a facility named Glencroft in Phoenix, Arizona, where I live. Now, millions of older people across the U.S. have dementia, and they are placed in facilities like assisted living facilities or nursing homes / memory care units. And it's a sad fact that most of these families don't visit their loved ones on a regular basis. And I consider a regular basis like once a week or so. So the facility Glencroft is the specific one I chose to try my idea out on. And it is also where my own grandmother is staying, which is why I'm doing it there. It has personal significance and everything. So first I'm going to talk about some reasons why families may not go, and then we're going to discuss the project and the benefits of it. So according to Lamana, Reedman, and Stewart of the Marriages, Families, and Relationships Making Choices in a Diverse Society book, the exchange theory is the relationship determined by exchange of resources and the reward cost relationship between them. Basically, it's saying that families and individuals who have dementia may not be willing to go to these memory care units or nursing homes to visit their families because they're not going to get that reward from it. The emotional and or social reward of talking, visiting, laughing, doing things together, that's all emotional and social reward. But with their loved ones in a memory care unit, it's going to be more of a cost because they're somebody that they don't know anymore, really. So it's when they ask the same questions like 3 or 4 times in the conversation or forget who you are. It's not a reward to see them. It's more of a cost. It's a reward for them because they're getting stimulation, but it's not for you, which is a big reason why people may not go and visit their family members. Another reason can be emotional strain of watching their loved ones slowly waste away near the end of the illness, especially with the Alzheimer's version. They can barely sit up in their chair. They usually have to have a belt buckle to hold them up so they don't fall down. And that can be hard for everyone, seeing their loved one waste away into somebody that they don't know anymore, as well as new roles that they may have to take on. Other reasons can include living in a different city, which is a solid reason, or across the city. At Glencroft, there's not a lot of things to do. You can watch TV, you can sit in their room and visit, you can eat with them, or you can take them out somewhere to eat. And that's not viable 1 or 2 times a week. There's not a lot of things to do, not a lot of activities. Categorization of family members, which means that the family members and people in general will start to see the people less as them and more define them as their disability. So my grandmother has dementia. That's the main thing I see as her. And that goes along with all the negative stereotypes. And it just makes people not want to visit them if they start seeing it more as a disorder rather than as a person. Farther along the chain for the dementia, as I said earlier, they can't really do anything. They sit in their chair, and sometimes they can't even sit up in their chair on their own. It's hard. The level of the cognitive impairment is extreme towards the end, and people may not want to visit and see that. They may come at the beginning and slowly just taper off as the disease gets worse over the years. And then behavioral problems with their family members. It can be very hard to see a family member, and this has happened to me, lunge at you and try to attack you because they get really angry or something. That happened to me and my mom. And afterwards, she didn't want to go for a while because she was shaken and she didn't want to have to deal with that. Okay, my plan. So my plan is to have the families of the loved ones come and do stuff with them. I call them like activities, games. It doesn't have to be the things that I've listed on the screen. It can be anything you want. If you did it with your family and they find it stimulating and rewarding, then do it. The whole point is to have the families come in. So the goal of the project is to get the families to want to visit more often with their loved ones at the Glencroft facility. And I'm hoping that over time it can evolve into the families go out on little like field trips, I guess you could call them, and they just go and do stuff rather than going out to eat. They go and do some activity out in the community. There are tons of community activities for the elderly, for families, for specifically people with dementia. There's just tons. And how I really went about this was I convinced the people at the facility to like spend some money on games, ask for donations. Some of the families of the individuals were more than happy to donate games that they can then play with their families. And it didn't help. It helped that I was in the medical field as well, so they had actually listened to me, sort of. And so some of the benefits of the families visiting and why it's so crucial is, like according to Lana Reedman and Stewart, one of the three major functions of the family is to provide emotional support and caring. So things like warmth, caring, togetherness, tolerance, and acceptance are all things that the family is supposed to do unconditionally. And according to Millington and Marina from the Family Care and Support website, families is the touchstone of a client's identity and the core of their social support system. Like I've been saying, the project, it's the stimulation, the emotional and or social stimulation that the individual gets when their family comes in and they do fun things. I don't want families to just come and drop their families off at the facility and then just never come. That's just depressing. The whole point of the family is to look after each other, to help each other. And as a species, humans, we're social creatures. We need to have social conversations, do things with other people, and especially with our families. And that's the basis for my project. So that's the end of it. Should stop it right here. I'm just going to stop sharing. I don't know if it's recorded or not.